Number 1. Runes. I just want something new to find. You know when you start up a character and you find your first rare? It's exciting, and even more so for your first legendary and even unique item. But as time goes on in Diablo 4, those items drop with such frequency that it stops being exciting. But in Diablo 2, the rarity of some of the high runes make it so that it's always gonna be exciting when they drop.
No way! Oh my god!
Number 2. A purpose for the white items. I'd like to see two things. A way to imbue white items like in D2 where you turn a white item into potentially something great. And secondly, rune words. You put in a certain set of runes into a white item and it keeps its foundational stats, but it gets this new set of affixes added to it. All of a sudden, white items have a purpose. Number 3. Blue or magic items don't have a purpose either. So in my opinion, since they have less affixes, I'd like to see them have the potential to roll higher on everything, like extra socket slots or higher affix rolls, even higher damage or armor. Perfect example in Diablo 2, the only way to get a ring with magic find over 30 is to have a blue magic item. 4. I want to see less quantity of loot, and I think you achieve this by having less affixes in the game, which they have confirmed is happening in this upcoming update, but I also want to see more interesting and uniquely useful affixes. Again, like in Diablo 2, there's chance to cast Frost Nova when you get hit, or cannot be frozen. These affixes can completely change how you play the game, versus just 10% armor. Number 5, this one ties into the last one. I want Blizzard to make it difficult to fill my entire stash. And this has been one of the main pain points of D4 players since the start, and there might be some light at the end of the tunnel now with this upcoming update. They've hinted towards putting all of your aspects into the Codex of Power, so this will for sure save up a lot of space. 6, I want more fun ways to get uber uniques, rather than just killing literally the same boss over and over. Now, they have increased the drop rate outside of Duriel, but I think Blizzard can do more than that. Maybe something related to Lilith, or the PvP zone, or Legion events. Maybe some of those can drop resplendent sparks so you can craft your uber uniques. 7. Forgotten Souls and Fiend Roses. These are materials you can basically only obtain in Helltide. So what if experience that you gain past level 100 turns into a currency that you can use to buy materials with? Since Diablo 4 is supposed to be all about choice, at least this frees up the player to choose how they collect their crafting materials. And when it comes to flowers for elixirs, each area of Sanctuary has like a different type of flower. But what if killing monsters in that area has a chance to drop the flowers of that area? You know, it makes logical sense. If a demon walks past a beautiful herb, chances are he's gonna pick that up and put it in his pocket, and when I kill him, I want to be able to grab that herb. Number 8, creative item crafting. Just give me a way to mix a bunch of consumables to turn an item, let's say a magical blue item, to give that another purpose, to give it affixes that I can't get otherwise. Again, like in Diablo 2, you can get faster cast rate on your amulet, crushing blow on your gloves, only from crafting. Number 9, make aspects and effects in general more interesting. The aspect I hate most in this game is pestilent points for the rogue. It says every third cast of puncture is poison imbued. Now, puncture is one of the 5 basic skills. So why is this aspect not more generic? Why doesn't it say every third cast of a basic skill? This would allow for way more customization from the player, not pigeonholing them into using just one skill. And I'm longing for more aspects to not just be plus 20% attack speed, but rather, like in the recent season, the druid's rock boulders start spinning around them. It's not just making the number bigger, it's altering how you play your character. And now in Diablo 4, there's way more sources of plus to all skills. Your skills can be rank 17 or higher, but a lot of the times getting more skill points only increases really boring stats of the skill. Like each skill point represents 2% more damage. What if on top of that, getting more ranks to a skill would change like the lucky hit percent chance? Or as an example, Invigorating Strike increases your energy regeneration percentage the more ranks you have in it. Or more points in Heartseeker increases the crit chance I get from using it. It just seems lazy and boring that nothing of a skill changes except how much damage it deals. 10. I'd like a way to boost an affix roll of one of my items. Like if I have a really low crit chance roll on my gloves, I want to be able to boost that to somehow make it into a high roll. And this being on top of what already exists, you can re-roll one of the affixes. So let's say I have the 4 affixes I want on my gloves, but one of them is really low. Just give me some way to somehow improve that item. That would be fun. Number 11. I want creative aspect innovation. For example, imagine an item that you can imprint 2 aspects on, or an item where you can put an offensive aspect in a defensive slot. So you can have like a defensive sword or an offensive chest armor. These things could completely change how you build your character. Number 12. I want a way to access both options of the skill twigs. Maybe it's a super rare thing that drops from killing a butcher past level 100, and you imprint it into one of your items that allows for one skill of your choice to access both sides of a skill. That'd be cool. 13. I want a trade page in the game that's literally like Diablo.trade. I've used this page every season, and trading is honestly so much fun and adds so much to the game, but why is it not a feature in the game? I just want to easily and seamlessly be able to list all my items and be able to look for specific items that I'm looking for. It's not that complicated. And number 14, I want the ability to trade legendaries and unique items too, because currently they're account bound and I don't really see the purpose of that. If I sell an amazing blue item to someone for 5 billion in-game gold, I want to be able to spend that 5 billion to buy a Harlequin Crest Shaco Uber Unique, because that's the item I've always wanted. Give the players the freedom over the marketplace. Thank you. 15, a loot filter. Now, I don't think Blizzard will add this for reasons A, at least until the expansion, and B, unless players keep begging for it, because their mentality is that a loot filter might not be needed after this next patch, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. Number 16, a completely new type of Paragon glyph that doesn't require a specific socket place in your Paragon board, meaning you can place this new glyph in any area, allowing for infinite customization and actually separating builds from each other. 17, boss materials. To not require having to do Tree of Whispers or farming living steel in order to get to Duriel. What if at the end of a nightmare dungeon past tier 50, let's say, or even killing any random monster that's higher level than 100 has a chance to open a random boss portal, and this portal takes you directly to, let's say, the Butcher or Duriel, Mephisto or Andariel, just like a one-on-one encounter with you and this boss, giving you the gameplay of fighting a boss, but you don't have to farm endlessly for these materials in order to get there. It's just like an exciting event that sometimes happens. Number 18, an armory. Just any way to put aside and save your builds. Now with the Gauntlet, AOZ, and just exploring new builds in general for various content. We need an armory. 19, give me low-level unique items. General ones, not just class-specific. Items that if I find on my first playthrough, I would love to keep them in my stash for my alts. Items that give me movement speed, cooldown reduction, access to maybe unstoppable, or ways to apply vulnerable, or perhaps most importantly, a way to sustain my resources without using a basic skill. Like finding a unique item designed this way at like level 21 would be so satisfying. They're not meant to be overpowered, just make them feel really good to find and have. And finally, number 20, charms. Now, I don't want charms like in Diablo 2, it takes up space of your inventory. We have enough inventory problems as it is, but why not have, let's say, 2 charm slots for every character that don't just give plain stats like plus to life, but also aspect-like effects, like any skill that you use after evading gets cost twice. Just more fun ways to customize your character. Maybe Blizzard can even bring back the Hellfire Torch. Do you like these ideas? Do you agree that the game would improve with them in the game, or do you have different ideas? I'd love to hear your thoughts in a comment below.